ukuthi mawukuthi uyakwenza uyeke, mawukuthi uyakwenza lokho esihlangene ngakho lapha namhlanje uNkulunkulu uyeke nangedlozi. Sengikhulumela ke sizikamageba, ngifuna nikhumbule njalo nibone angikhulumeli nezinye izizwe laba abakhuluma ulimi likaJoji okwabo ngibhalela lapha phansi ngisazokhuluma nabo ngoba nabo bayadinga ukuthi kukhulunywe nabo ngoba bahlezi kanye nathi la. Ngiqhubeke nina besilo ngibona nje nemishado ngiyakhala ngiyumholi wesizwe, imithimba nememulo ukuhamba kuyancipha kulezi. Ngabe yiyo le nkinga esihlangane ngayo lapha namhlanje, kuyancipha. Manje besisazohlala phansi siyindlunkulu namakhosi futhi asendlunkulu esibuza ukuthi ikuphi inkinga. Ake ngisho nakho kumnandi kodwa uma niyiphethe kahle madoda kwaZulu, uma niyiphethe kahle sisazoxoxa nokwehlisa kwelobolo ley'nkomo. Cha.
Hi everybody, it's Zandile on the Miss Masombuga channel. I hope everybody is doing well. Today we're going to be talking about something that's in the news. The Zulu King promises to reduce Lobola payments as incentive to end GBV. And I've taken this article from the Times Live and I will of course link it in the description. So it says, Zulu King Misuzulu Gazwelithini, Minister in the Presidency responsible for women, youth and people living with disabilities Nkosazana Zuma, Dlamini Zuma, and eThekwini Representative Nkosenhle Madlala led the second National Men's Day against GBV at Mangosuthu University of Technology to Kingswelithini Stadium at Umlazi on Saturday. Zulu King Misuzulu Gazwelithini promised to look into reducing Lobola payments if men do better to end the scourge of gender-based violence against women and children. Misuzulu was the keynote speaker at the second annual National Men's Day against gender-based violence and femicide at the Kingswelithini Stadium in Umlazi on Saturday. The event, which was preceded by a 1.3-kilometer march from the Mangosuthu University of Technology to the stadium, is the brainchild of the Good Men Foundation and the Zulu Queen's Kamaskolo Foundation. It seeks to encourage men to play an active role in the fight against GBV, which has been described as the second pandemic in the country. Misuzulu made a heartfelt plea to Zulu men in particular to stand and be counted in the fight against abuse of women and children. Quote, I felt embarrassed when I saw the theme, Where Are Men? Because we are here, but the situation we find ourselves in doesn't show that we are around as real men. I'm pleading with you, the Zulu nation. I don't like to speak for other nations in this situation. I'm begging you as your king, because the late king, Zwelithini Kabheka Zulu, was also stressing that you don't touch a woman, you respect a child, so that you can also do likewise. They can also do likewise. Respect is actually a must in the Zulu culture. For a home or a nation to thrive, you must lead it with respect. He provided an incentive for Zulu men to fight this scourge, as well as increase marriages in the nation. Let me tell you the good news that will only be considered if you behave yourself as Zulu men. We will discuss reducing cows for Lobola. We can't discuss that while we have these challenges. I don't know if this is because of COVID-19, but we have less marriages these days and more cases of abuse. We can fight this. Deputy Minister of Health Sibongiseni Dlomo said the country should unite in the fight against GBV, as it did against COVID-19. COVID-19 is still around, but it's not that prevalent. It was once as troublesome as GBV. So how did we reduce it? Through all our efforts with vaccinations, washing our hands and sharing information with our neighbors. Yet we can't do the same with GBV. Maybe it's because it is being pushed by one side and the other is not contributing a similar effort, he said. Minister in the presidency responsible for women, youth, and people living with disabilities, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, said statistics showed that the level of femicide and R-word cases against women and children is unacceptable. South Africa faces the highest femicide rate amongst the top 5 countries with the highest murders. The SAPS reported 25,204 murders in 2021/2022, and 3,198 of those were women. That works out to 9 women being murdered daily in South Africa. That is not acceptable. Oh, this is hard. Okay, the stats are in the article, and they're grim. But she ends off with, "We should really be ashamed as a country." And I can't read them because they really are. It's disturbing. Dlamini Zuma said the fight against GBV starts with not being tolerant of violent crime in society. She also pleaded with traditional healers to banish men who have been found to have been abusive towards women and children. So there's 2 things I find interesting about this scenario. Before I get to those 2 things, let me just say that I think this is commendable. I am so happy that the king is taking this on. I'm very happy that the previous king was taking it on, the previous Zulu king, King Zwelithini. I'm very happy that they're taking it on. What I'm saying, and I want to say it as a disclaimer because I do not want anybody to get it misconstrued that I don't like the fact that they have this march. So kudos to Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Kudos to King Misuzulu, and kudos to the Prince of the Zulu Nation, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, and kudos to anybody who attended this. I'm so happy that men are standing up. Another disclaimer I want to make is that I actually have no issue with lowering the Lobola, the Lobola amount. Because currently, for anyone who doesn't know, currently traditionally, it's considered that for a man wanting to take a Zulu woman as a wife, 11 cows are the standard. Now, when he talks about reducing the Lobola, he's talking about reducing it from that. I have absolutely no issue with that. I have been put down a lot in my family because I don't understand why anybody is paying over 5,000 Rand Lobola. I think that we are financially not in a place where we can be expecting someone to fork out, about 11,000 Rand. The last time I was involved in the buying of a cow, it was 11,000 Rand. So that's 11 times 11. My maths is not good enough for me to get that number now, but I know it's over 100K. And I know a lot of families aren't sticking to that. So this isn't me saying that, people are being forced to pay over 100,000 Rand for a girl. The problem I'm having with this whole thing is, firstly, I see women having an issue with it. I legit don't understand. If we are looking at the most unequal country in the world stat that we have, South Africa is the most unequal country. In the most unequal country in the world, you are not going to have a great pool of men with a lot of money. I have no issue with women wanting money. Again, not my issue. If you want money, go out and get money. If you want a man with money, you are well within your rights to do that. That has nothing to do with me. What I'm saying is, there are many women who don't care about money. As I've always said about this whole stereotype of black women loving money, go to any prison with men on visiting day and tell me how many women are there visiting. And then tell me that those women are there for riches. How many are married to these men and how many will stay loyal to them? And then tell me that black women just want money in South Africa. But what I have an issue with this whole thing is, commendable though it is, it's basically making a systemic issue into a personal issue. GBV is directly linked to lack of power. We have a patriarchal structure within the country which takes on the idea that a man has to be a certain way. And when that isn't happening, we are finding that that is what is leading to a lot of these GBV cases. Am I saying that it's all people with no money? Of course not. Am I saying that all rich people are treating their spouses and partners well? No. Because I think one of the issues we have is how we socialize in this country, how men and women are socialized, both individually and collectively, which upholds a very patriarchal idea. So another thing I'm thinking of is it's very easy to go out and chastise men for feeling weak. It's very easy to say to them, you need to stop doing this, you need to stop doing that. If you reduce GBV, you're going to get lower Lobola payments. But if you're looking at it, a Lobola payment is a once off. So what happens after these people are married? What happens with this man's aggression that he has been taught that he is allowed to use if he is feeling threatened, or if he's feeling disrespected, or if he's feeling like he's not being given his dues and the role that he believes that the position he believes that he should be given within the family? How do you deal with that? One of the things that I consistently have said, if you go back on Twitter and see my old Twitter interactions, one thing I've always said is that black people need counseling. So it's very well and good to say that you'll reduce Lobola, or Lobola should be reduced, or men should stop doing what they're doing. Of course, people should stop abusing each other. That's obvious. I feel like that should be obvious. And I know how this conversation always goes. That's why I hate doing gender content, because you then start being told, oh, but what are women doing? But oh, okay, so it's okay for them. No, that's not what I'm saying. At the end of the day, let's tell the truth. You've never met or heard of a woman who beat a man to death. So let's stop with this whole everybody is, all lives matter. This is not what we are comparing. Disrespectful mouths with death. And I'm not going to sit here and entertain that. But what I'm saying is, I wish they would come up with resources and ways of men dealing with these issues internally and I mean intracommunally. Because at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, even if someone wants to do something, sometimes what they need is the ability to have a community which understands them and tries to help them out of it. Patrick Shy, the late great Patrick Shy, used to be an advocate for former male abusers, and I think that was wonderful. And I know there are certain men's organizations which are trying to help men deal with their own aggression and how they are socialized to see women and children as weaklings that they need to beat into submission. And I'm hoping that what comes out of this is more of a support system for that, because we are going through a lot as a country, guys. We are going through so much as a country. And it is so hard watching people who you can see and know are trying to be good people, but life circumstances get them down. So those are just the two things I wish would be dealt with here. I wish there would be resources which are put out for men who feel that they are in this position. Also, I live in a small town, and daily I see the number of young black men who are not working, and it is horrifying. So as much as I appreciate what the king is doing, and I'm not saying that we should stop, all I'm saying is I wish we could advocate for resources for these young men and the women they are involved with, and old ones as well, of course. But the more resources we can make available, and the more we can fix the economies so that you don't have people who are unable to make a way for themselves and they are always living in a state of desperation and financial insecurity, I think that would go a long way towards lessening and lowering those numbers. Anyway, please let me know what you think. Thanks so much for joining me. On to the next one. Bye.